Hey y'all, in this tutorial we'll be drawing this pretty famous balloon puppy that you have probably already seen all over your For You page and your Instagram Reels, Pinterest, everything. And the reason why I chose to make a tutorial on this is because this will be a really great practice for every beginner, because here we'll really pay attention to all the details to get all the shadows and highlights right. And also I like how you don't really need to get all the proportions right because it's a puppy balloon, and balloons come in different shapes and sizes. Some of them will have bigger heads, some of them will have longer bodies, etc. So let's get started. As you can see, while I did all the talking, I created a screen-sized canvas and imported my reference picture. And now I'll be using a Procreate pencil in color black to sketch out my balloon puppy. And again, you don't need to worry about all the proportions because it's literally just a balloon puppy. Just make sure that you don't change the shape too much because it will affect the placement of all the highlights and shadows. As you can see, I'm wrapping up my sketch and my proportions are slightly off, which is totally okay. And now we're on to the most exciting part, which is coloring. And to make adding shadows and highlights much easier and essential, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have each one of its body parts on a completely new layer, and then we're just gonna simply turn on auto lock, aka one of my favorite features about Procreate, and then it will make adding highlights and shadows so much easier because we won't have paint spill over onto the other layers. And I literally can't wait to add all the highlights and all the details and to make this little puppy come to life. And this is what we're going to be working on the next few minutes. Now that we're done with that, I'm just gonna go over all the layers and turn on the alpha lock. Now that we're done with enabling alpha locks, I will be using a soft brush to add all the shadows and highlights. And again, it's a great practice for every beginner because you'll be looking at your reference picture and trying to get all the shadows and the highlights right. So this is what's gonna make us busy the next, I would say, 10 to 15 minutes. with adding basic shadows and highlights, and now we're on to improving our drawing. And as you probably already noticed, I added a nice gray background because I feel like gray and blue tones really do go together well. So now we're on to improving our highlights, and as you can see, the transitions between the body parts aren't as smooth as I wanted them to be, so we can either use the smudge tool or the soft brush, and as long as you don't press too hard while you're using the brush, it acts like a smudge tool, so you can use one of the two. And now we're going to be working on the highlights, and my favorite brush to use when adding highlights is the light pen, and I believe that it's located in the luminance category. I use it in almost each one of my drawings. And now we're on to merging down each one of the layers one by one, because then we're gonna add the clipping mask onto the layer with our highlights, and it's gonna make adding highlights so much easier because then again the paint won't spill over onto the other layers. As you can see, it only stays on our balloon cup. So now I'm just gonna randomly place my highlights, and in a second you will see how much our drawing has improved. Alright guys, we are wrapping up our drawing, and these little highlights that we added lastly were probably like the most important touches because they made our drawing improve by a lot. Anyways, make sure to subscribe to my channel right now because here you will find a lot of easy and simple tutorials for every beginner, and also make sure to like this video if you found this video somehow helpful, and I will see you all in the next tutorial. Bye!